It's October 19th, 2023, and I woke up from a dream this morning, and it reminded me of all of the other dreams on this same matter. So I have come on to share what I believe the Lord is showing me. I think it's for now. And I want to start with a dream that I had on August 30th of 2020. This is a dream where I dreamt of these big, huge black bears, and they were in our house. And we had to go into different rooms in the house and lock the doors to hide from them. I was trying to protect my little girl from them. And I knew they couldn't get in, but they were pushing the door to where, they were trying to get in. So then, in between that time, my little girl has also had dreams of bears, and I have wanted to share these things, but it was just never the right time. And now, of course, there's so many things that he's been showing me that I have to be in obedience. So I'm coming on to share. This morning, the 19th of October of 2023, I woke up from a dream. My little girl and I were taking the dogs out. She had one dog and I had the other. We heard this growl in the woods, and it was kind of like we were walking up a hill to leading into the woods, and we both heard a growl from the woods. And in the dream, I knew I heard that growl before. And it was weird because I had only heard it once in the dream, but it was like I knew I have heard this before. This is familiar. So what I'm thinking now is that came from a prior dream, that this is coming from something the Lord's already shown me. He's showing me this a second time as a witness. So that's just my thoughts. I just had to say that. But anyway, I looked at my little girl and I said, run to the house. And then I followed her and I got inside and I locked the door. And I'm looking out the window. I'm kind of like scooched down, like on the ground, and I'm looking out through the window, and I see this black bear coming out of the woods. And he didn't look threatening, just kind of frolicking a little bit, and then came straight to the front door. And I'm like, oh no. And I don't know if I locked the door at that time or I looked to see if the door was locked, but it was locked regardless. And so I was like, okay. And so I just kind of waited there, and all of a sudden this black bear started to slide underneath the door. I couldn't believe my eyes, so I just stood there like, is this happening? How is he getting in? I told my daughter again, I said, run, go into another room. And so we went into another room. And I remember in one room, my parents were asleep in there, and I wanted to yell. I think I told them, lock your doors. But I don't remember that part. I just knew that they were in there, but I couldn't warn them or something. Anyway, so we went into this other big room. It was a huge living room area, and there was those L-shaped couches, and I ran to this other door, which was kind of blocked, and I was like, why would this be blocked? So I managed to get in, and I opened it, but then for some reason, my daughter, who had ran ahead of me, was now on the other side of the room, and I'm like, run, come on. And here comes this bear, and she managed to get to the couch. She, instead of running around the couch, she went to try to climb over the couch. Well, as soon as she started to climb up, it was like she froze, and this bear comes up, and it's right next to her. And I looked at her face like she was kind of frozen in shock, and I screamed in the dream. I screamed because I was just like, oh no. And then I woke up. What I was given was Joel 2 verse 9, how they climb into the houses and they enter the windows like a thief. This is what it reminded me of. It just was able to get in without any effort. It literally just slid under the door this huge bear just slid under the front door of our house. So it was like it just entered in like a thief. Now, I've done a lot of studying in the book of Joel and Daniel and Revelation over the past 7 years, and you can see that I've written in my Bible, things that had come to me. When I have a question about something, I'll put a question mark in it. But the one thing I wrote that I noticed that stood out was the army from the north, because I was also given Jeremiah 50 through 51. I actually woke up hearing that one night. So this stood out, the army from the north. On October the 1st of this year, 2023, I woke up singing this song, Blow the Trumpet in Zion, Sound the Alarm in My Holy Mountain. And since then, I keep coming back to Joel chapter 2 and seeing what's going on in Israel right now. When you read in Joel chapter 2, this is talking about the day of the Lord. And it talks about how this army comes great and strong, and a fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burns. That just reminds me of burning war, right? The other thing is they run on the wall, they climb into houses, they enter the windows like a thief. That's verse 9, which I was given for that when that bear just climbed under my door, just slipped right under my door. And when you go to Joel 2 verse 20, it says, "But I will remove far from you the northern army, and I will drive him far away into a barren and desolate land, with his face toward the eastern sea and his back towards the western sea." So if you read this, you see this army that was sent in, that God gives voice before, is the northern army. I'm going to share another dream from March the 2nd, 2022. I broke this dream down into parts. It was just one big long dream that continued, and I saw different parts. Felt more like a vision. So in the first part, I was just observing this, but I felt the feelings of the people. I saw an invasion. People were in captivity. It reminded me of the movie Red Dawn, where they could go about buying things and living, but they were always watched by the military. It was dark, very gray, dreary outside. It was the daytime though. There was snow on the ground in some parts of the dream. I saw people sledding and ice skating as if everything was fine, but they were not free. I asked myself, was this America or Europe? I was pondering this. The people seemed to be of another country, but it also seemed to be in America. It seemed like I'd seen this before. Pictures of the Holocaust and things come to mind when I describe what I saw, but it was actually happening. The second part of the dream, it's still a very gray, dreary day. It still seemed like winter. I saw a warehouse, and people were marching in a circle into the warehouse and out of it. They were told they had to keep moving or they would die. I heard somehow knew that they had a bomb strapped to them. If they stopped moving, they would explode and the military would just laugh at them. I had a feeling they are Christians. They look worn and weary. Their clothes were very dirty and they were very downcast. I seemed to think their captors were Islamic, but this was just a feeling that I had in the dream, so I don't know. But because later in my dream, I knew there was a Russian invasion in America, and I don't know if this was part of the same dream or a continuation. It's like different scenes. The third part of the dream, it was very dark outside. People are still in captivity, so it's like nighttime now. They could slightly be free to go to stores. It seems like the husbands were not allowed to be with their wives. At one point, I was a wife in the dream, and I snuck to see my husband. But he wasn't my husband in real life, so I think I was experiencing what it was like to be her. Like I had to sneak to go to talk to him. So here's the Russian invasion part. I was actually in this part and a part of it instead of an observer. It was very dark. I was with my ex-husband. We were standing in front of my mom's house in North Carolina, which it still felt like we were in captivity of some sort. So this is after captivity. This occurred. We suddenly saw fighter jets above. Then a bright flash in the distance to my left. The next thing I saw was that brightness was coming towards us. So it was a nuclear blast, and I saw this bright flash of light just coming towards me like very fast. And I said, "Hurry, that's a nuclear bomb, get down." And I was like, get down. And I got down on the ground, and there was this patch of green grass. It was like this bubble was around me because this nuclear bomb overtook us. But I'm like, as it's happening, I could still think. I didn't feel its effects. And I remember thinking, did he or my ex get his heart right with Jesus? I hope he isn't in hell right now. I thought those things. And so when I woke up, I really was praying for him to give his life to Jesus. But I actually woke up seeing, like right before I opened my eyes, a white piece of paper and the word Russia on it.
Joel 2. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained, all faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another, they shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Therefore also now, saith the Lord, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning, and rend your heart, and not your garments, and turn unto the Lord your God, for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repenteth him of the evil. Who knoweth if he will return and repent, and leave a blessing behind him, even a meat offering and a drink offering unto the Lord your God? Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly. Gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children, and those that suck the breasts. Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride out of her closet. Let the priests, the ministers of the Lord, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, Spare thy people, O Lord, and give not thine heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, Where is their God? Then will the Lord be jealous for his land, and pity his people. Yea, the Lord will answer and say unto his people, Behold, I will send you corn, and wine, and oil, and ye shall be satisfied therewith. and I will no more make you a reproach among the heathen. But I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savour shall come up, because he hath done great things. Fear not, O land, be glad and rejoice, for the Lord will do great things. Be not afraid, ye beast of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness do spring, for the tree beareth her fruit, the fig tree and the vine do yield their strength. Be glad then, ye children of Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your God, for he hath given you the former rain moderately, and he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain, and the latter rain in the first month. And the floors shall be full of wheat, and the vats shall overflow with wine and oil. And I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten, the cankerworm, and the caterpillar, and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. And ye shall eat in plenty, and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Lord your God, that hath dealt wondrously with you. And my people shall never be ashamed. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my Spirit. And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and the terrible day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call.